I've learned something from the industry, right? Especially here in Nashville. You think it is a pool of talent, which it is, by the way, but it's a pool of talent of starving artists, and sometimes it's like, oh man, like there's opportunities to collaborate and build a portfolio. And like, if that's a stage or phase that creatives come into, like collaboration is key. That's why a lot of people go to LA to become TikTok stars or like Instagram influencers or YouTubers. They actually have these like houses called influencer houses.
Yeah,
right?
I know about those. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would literally be like, hey, I'm just here to collaborate because it takes collaboration to build brand. And then they would close brand deals. So they would work together with, if you're a comedian, you work with other comedians and you build a YouTube channel together, or you're showing up and collaborating on each other's Instagram. Yeah. And then you take that attention and you convert it into brand deals. So there's like a methodology in it. So I could imagine in Nashville finding all the talent and saying like, let's just collaborate and build like some brands. And then monetizing those brands is like a way, but that's a slower growth for
yeah.
me. Like I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? As a creative, as a business,
See, but the biggest thing within what you just said, there's a small little thing of like experimenting.
Yes.
And like having fun with like, let's see if this works.
Let's just see if it works.
Let's set up a camera this way and let's try filming it here. And that's the little sweet spot that I love. I love just playing.
Yeah.
See if it works. If it doesn't work, it's fine. You tried it. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. Just like what we're doing today.
Yeah.
We're just like, hey, let's just flip on the cameras and hit record and just talk, man. And I love that because I feel like, here in Nashville, I feel like there needs to be more of a spirit of creativity and collaboration. I feel like proximity and collaboration breeds creativity. Like just being in the room with creatives inspires me to become more creative. It gives me a new outlet and an outlook on how to accomplish and put together creative ideas and execute those. And I feel like there has to be a time or season, because I haven't found it yet, by the way. Like I haven't found that here in this community yet of like creative collaboration. I feel like there's a lot of creative competition.
Yeah.
Right. Do you feel that?
Yeah. And like I try to, like when I reach out to you, I want to reach out to people to build something together, to learn from each other, and not like a competition. It's not like, well, my website's better than your website. You don't have this. Like, I don't care about that.
Who cares?
It's like, oh, how'd you do that? Awesome. Let me try that. Like, I want to feed off people, and I want to just create, like, if you have an idea, I want to take that idea and run with it and play with it and help that other person. Because there's tons of stuff that that I don't, and vice versa. We can learn a lot from each other, but it's just that first initial, hey, you want to do something?
Is this what you like to do? That's what I like to do too. Let's hang out. Like
that's
that easy.
It really is that easy. And I think you're right. It's more competition, but also people are leaning a lot towards the professional. They're forgetting why they got into this in the first place, because they enjoyed it. They had fun doing it.
Yeah. I think, I think that also shows me their maturity, right, as a creative. So you have amateur creatives, pro creatives, and master creatives, right? An amateur creative, they have a lack mentality, right? They're like, okay, well, I'm an amateur, but I don't want people to know I'm an amateur, so like I'm just gonna do things that I've seen other people do, and then like I'm just gonna, like you could hear their anxiety and frustration when something goes wrong. They don't know how to solve that problem because they don't have that experience yet. Right, so they're like very amateur. They'll duct tape a lot of things, and like the outputs, like what they produce doesn't match what they say, so like those are amateur creatives. Pro creatives are like, I get paid to do this, and I kind of have a processing system, and they're professional at it. They get paid to be a creative, but they haven't figured out the mastery side yet of like getting to the outcomes. Like, so they're still doing it, but they're pitching a lot of stuff. So like, oh, I do weddings, and I do headshots, and I do product photography. They're trying to still explore kind of where they're at in their services, and they haven't got it dialed. A master creative is a very seasoned creative, I believe. They've learned that the end goal isn't the outcome or getting paid anymore. The journey and the process is the goal. So a master is like, I just practice. So I could be a practitioner for 30, 40 years, and that's a master to me. Like, you're mastering the art. You never actually get to the destination. The destination is the process. And I feel like guys like you are masters because your destination is the creative process. it doesn't really end in a result. The result is like when you get paid, that's a reward for your creative process. Right. So when there's an exchange of value, that's actually a reward. The exchange of value isn't the goal. And that's where the problem is with amateurs and pros. They think the goal is the money that they charge. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're like, oh, you know, do you charge $5,000 for your product? I'm like, shut the dude, I did 6 figures in music videos, like for a project. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even care anymore about the money part. I'm like, my goal is the process. You know what I'm saying? So if you could master the process, right, then you become a master, right? So of the craft.
Agreed. And within that process, my favorite thing is a little word, the aha moment.
No, come on.
That's my favorite thing. Like, yeah, like you said, money, you know, like, you know, this is to a point. But I love it when I'm with someone and they're like, you know, I'm a little, you know, camera shy, or like, where do I look? And like, it's fun to break it down and show them like, this is something fun you can do. Just think about, you know, what you're saying. Don't worry so much about like writing a script and memorizing it. Just be in the moment. Yeah. And as you break it down, and then when you're done, they're like, wow, that really wasn't that bad. That was actually really fun. That's the reward for me.
Yes.
Is that education.
And as a creative, man, like we have lots of rewards along the way. You know, whenever you create something and then you watch someone's expression after they had watched the work you did, that's a reward. Or in the process of it, where you hand them the keys to unlock one thing that has been holding them back, right? That's a reward. So as a master of the craft, like, you're finding rewards in every stage of the process. As an amateur and pro, your reward is like the end goal and the end results and the transaction, right? So like, if you can find more masters of creativity in your circle, the more that community is going to thrive and build and become more than just a transaction, you know? So that's really interesting to me, man. Like, just finding little rewards throughout the process.
Yeah, I don't want to be that like car salesman. I want to be that like mom and pop shop that like they know your name.
Boutique.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want that. That's where that relatability and that loyalty comes in, because you're just, you know, I'm not seeing you as a client. Like, I want to help you along the way. And if you,
and I think there's a difference too, because there are creatives and like people that are in this industry just to have clients.
Correct.
Right. So like, I think it just depends on your persona and your desired outcomes. If you're just trying to make money, you're going to use content creation or creativity as a vehicle to get to that sale. And you wouldn't really care about the relationship part. But if you're solely, and you have creatives, and I'm not saying either one's good or bad, like, people just has their own motives. But in my circle, I just desire more relationship. Yeah. Right. So like, it really aligns with your ethos of, if you find people that are really caring more about the relationship than the result. Right. Yeah. Because in that relationship is more opportunities. Correct. And more possibilities to do more work and more of what you love. And knowing that, yeah, I got to pay the bills, but I'm not stressing over that part if I know relationships are in the riches. You know, like, the richness is in those relationships. And you have people that are like, oh man, I got to recommend Chris. Like, you know, like, there's been moments I'm like, dude, you got to hit up Chris. Like, I got to reach out to Chris. You know, if you're looking for this, or if you're trying to do this, you always be top of mind if you have those rich relationships.
Yeah. And those, like, I would love to have those people in my life where it's like, I worked with them, and then like they have an idea and they're excited about it. They're like, hey, Chris, I have this idea. Do you think this would work? Like, I want them to be excited about putting up their camera, getting their mic out. And like, that's the goal.
Yeah. I got it. Chris, Chris number one. We got to introduce him to Jim Morris and some folks. Yeah, because Jim works with keynote speakers. He has an events. He puts on this event called Impact Effect. And we also are doing a collaboration called Impact Summit. But we work, and I feel like you do great with people that want to get on stages, or authors that want to turn into like TED Talk people. Right. So I think there's I know you want to dive into the music people and whatnot, but let me tell you.
Well, it's not like I love the pause. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? No, it's not like fully diving into that. No, honestly, like, there's not a lane. Like, I just want to create
with people.
I mean, that's awesome. All I want to do. It's like, and if it's happened to be like music, that's great. If it's people that want to do TED Talks, let's do it. Like, I want to help. I think the education aspect is missing when it comes to like how you do this for people.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm really open Like when I'm with someone and we're about to do a video, I'm telling them, listen, so you're going to be camera from chest up, and this is what I'm thinking. Like I want them to know the process. That way they can trust me.
Yes.
They're not going in it blindly, and they're like, wow, he told me the entire process. And then next time we work with each other, they know what to expect. They're not scared anymore. They're really animated. It's the education.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like you're like a confident coach. You know, you're a confidence coach. You coach them up, but you understand because you've been behind a camera and you understand what's going to go to the editing table, right? So like you have a unique, you have like a unique perspective on like being behind the camera and also being behind a computer where you know exactly what to say to them to bring out what's going to make them look the best. Right. So like you have this confident coach kind of mentality when it comes to being on camera and videos to get the best edit, to get the best deliverables, you know, because you know already by seeing someone, the way they present themselves and the way they communicate, you're like, ooh, this isn't really, I don't think we could edit this in post. You know, like they always say, oh, we'll just fix it in post. Well, you can't fix persona in post. You know, there's a limit. Yeah. One day with AI is just like, fix and post, like AI
insert happiness. There we go. We're good.
Insert emotions, and then they'll take it. They do this now. Like if you're talking in English, they have AI that can translate it and will move your mouth like the way they speak. Jeremy Cowart just showed me a video. He's like, dude, I was speaking English in this video. Now look at it. It showed me he was speaking in Japanese and his mouth was moving in Japanese.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, bro, I'll send it to you. He just texted it to me.
That's insane.
Yeah,
I've seen all the other new AI stuff that's coming out.
AI is like literally, there's so much happening in the AI. I'm just like, this is the freaking end of the world. Okay. Like I'm ready for the apocalypse coming because the AI is going to take over and they're getting smarter, dude. Like these engines are getting so smart. And I'm just like, okay, we're all going to be out of jobs soon. Got it.
I don't even have to edit anymore.
I know, bro. We have editing AI, even that we use in our own business, you know. But here's the thing: nothing's gonna replace human beings. Because like, I look at that stuff and I'm like, yeah, okay. In 10 years, is it gonna be better? Sure, but it doesn't have the human intuitiveness,
that personal touch.
Yeah, that personal touch made with love.
I'm one of those rare breeds that actually likes to edit. I pour myself a little bit of whiskey. And I sit down, and it's just a fun puzzle. Like when I'm shooting, I know how I'm going to edit because I'm editing in my head. But when I sit down, I don't know, it's soothing, I guess is the right word. I know it's
therapeutic, man. And I think like,
am I alone in this?
You're not, because let me tell you, I spent many years, about 20 years behind an editing. You know, started in 2001. Freshman in high school editing on Final Cut, like the beta. I don't even think they had like numbers yet. It was just like beta. And I remember because I was using my high school Apple computers, like those big old, big ones, right? And they're like my video teachers, like, because we did all high school news and stuff. That's where I got everything. But I was like doing skateboard videos, so I was like, I went to the video teacher. I wasn't even in their class. I was like, hey, what's the best editing platform on here? And how can I make, because I've been using Windows Movie Maker since 95 or like, you know, just since like the days, because I was filming skateboarding videos. And then I would go and ask my teacher that I wasn't even in class with, and he would let me come in during lunchtime and after school to edit on Final Cut. And he was just teaching me Final Cut. So I was using Final Cut until Final Cut 7, and then they switched it to 10, which was like a very iMovie, like glorified iMovie. And I was like, I can't do that. So I switched to Adobe, and then all the Adobe products and suites, I learned that all the way up through film school and all that stuff. But like just the sheer patience I've gained through being in the cutting room. It's like, I'm such a patient person because of knowing how to edit, because you got to watch things over and over, like 100,000 times. You watch the same track, same song, tweaking it. Like you just know the parts and pieces to cut to.
Yeah. And I hearing the same things over and over again, I feel so bad for my wife, because I'll be editing and she'll hear the same thing, but then she'll start repeating the lines. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm almost done, I promise.
But you know, like, thank God for our wives, because they're like, they knew what they signed up for.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like me and back in the day, me and my wife, we used to work on music videos together because she was a makeup artist. So like we'd be on set together and we'd go through pre-production together and production, and like really like we built a lot of just workability between me and her because of being on set as a makeup artist and a film director. So we'd go to the editing room and she'd just be there and hearing the same tracks over and over again. It's been stuck in her head. And you know, so she's just, God bless them, you know, like God bless them, because they had to sit through it. But But it was better when we worked on projects that we were very passionate about.
Right.
You know, like
it
that was the key. Yeah, it definitely shows.
I mean, if you're having fun with what you're doing, the work's gonna reflect that.
Yeah.
And I think, like, for me, when I being in front of the camera for so long, doing theater and doing short films and film festivals, like, that helps so much, and not just like learning how everything works, but like you said with the coaching, it really helps me, because I know, like, the best directors are actors, because they know what the actors are going through and the cadence and things that need to be said. And
like the best videographers know how to edit, because they're already filming the way they're chopping it up.
Yeah.
Right. Because they could see the cuts in their head, you know, and that's something that you could only like develop over time. Yeah. I think as a videographer, content creator, is like you got to take it from the editing perspective. Yeah. How is this going to come together? Like, what shots are going to work out? If you pre-plan and prepare for the shoot, you're going to do so much better, because you come from it from an editing perspective. Yeah. You know, so there's a lot of content creators that don't edit, and like it just doesn't make sense. You could tell. You're just like, wow, you didn't get any of the shots that you need to tell the story.
Right, exactly.
Right, you have one focal length, one, you know, wide angle lens, and you're not even telling the details of the story. Like, what's wrong with you? Like
you have a 2-minute static shot of someone talking.
I got it recorded. Like, it's like, no, there's a difference, dummy. Like, get that tight shot, you know, like get that medium shot, like play around, because you want to give the editor a lot of dynamics of like things to shoot or play with when they cut overshoot, you know. Yeah. But that just shows seasoned creatives, right? So what is a big vision for you in 2024? Like, do you see yourself more so like getting in creative circles and coaching, or doing workshops, or like just being a part or building a creative community in Nashville? Like, what is a big vision for you?
I mean, I would love to create a little community. Like, the dream would be to have like a little team to do stuff together, to, you know, create things dogs. And to but the coaching is really fun to me. I really do enjoy the coaching, like, and I enjoy public speaking. Yeah. And so there are things about that I want to do more of, but I'm addicted to just filming. Yeah. Like, just creating stuff. Like, even like I drive my wife absolutely crazy when we go on vacations. I'll just make a video on something so small, but coaching, and then kind of trying to figure out how to build a team and try to create more and you know, create websites for people. You know, like, I want to create a little service that not just like runs your social media account, right? I want to teach you why we're doing these things.
Yeah, you want to help build a unified strategy between awareness and conversion.
Correct.
For people. Yeah. Right?
It goes back to the coaching to me.
Yeah, I think it all stems from coaching, and then it goes into building a clientele roadmap. Like, what is the client journey or process for them, right? They start with this one attractive piece of like, what makes you so unique is the way that you coach people to be on camera. Then the second piece is like, well, they got to be on camera, so they got to learn video and lighting. Well, they got to learn editing. Well, they got to learn how to, you know, be on social media. Like, where's this stuff going, right? Does it go on a website? Does it go on social? Yeah. Right. So it's kind of like follow the trail. Like, it's literally a client journey, right? You start with, I know I need to be more confident on camera. Okay. Well, you need to be on camera. Okay. But being on camera, where does that go? On my website, on my YouTube, on my whatever. So it's just like reverse engineering the end in mind. Correct. And it starts with them feeling more confident on camera. And I mean, we got a lot of clients and a lot of people in our circles that like definitely desire to be on stages and on camera more. And it's just like, all right, cool. Like, that's going to be a muscle that they're going to have to learn how to build up, you know? And there's a lot of business people that are like, I desire to be a thought leader. It's like, awesome. And I was just telling Chris this the other day. So like, you could be a 10 out of 10 genius creative, but if you're a 3 out of 10 communicator, you're a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Right. So because if you don't know how to communicate 10 out of 10, people think, even though you're a 10 out of 10 genius, people think you're a 3 out of 10 genius because you're a 3 out of 10 communicator.
You know what I think all aspiring creators should do? Have a job in retail. What I mean by that, excuse me. So I worked at Apple Computers for 9 years. I did everything but a manager, and learning how to communicate what's Google. I've never thought how to form that as like an answer. Yeah. But I had to, and it taught me patience, and it taught me how to like, not dumb it down, but, you know, to kind of explain it to them in their
simplest
point
form.
of view.
Yeah.
The best part was I was one of the trainers. So when someone's like, hey, I just bought this Mac, what do I do? And slowly, step by step, teaching them things, getting them excited about things.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought this because you want to do photos. Awesome. Let me show you iPhoto. This is where you're going to start.
Yeah.
There's that aha moment. And that kind of bled into now what I'm doing. And it just helped. It formed me into this person that I want to be.
You generated, what you've done is built a process and systems for simplification of where people are at. And a lot of creatives, they just like suddenly, like over time, got to where they're at, but they can't ever communicate why they do the things because they've been practicing it for so long. Right. So that, like, for a creative to communicate the why and how they do things, it's like pulling teeth sometimes because they haven't practiced that muscle. They're like, well, this is just what I've developed and it's my style. And that, again, this goes into the amateur and pro creatives where they're like, well, this is the way I do it. Yeah. It's like, okay, but if you can't transfer that over to someone that doesn't have your experience, your 5 years in creativity or 10 years, however long you've been in it, then it's really going to be difficult for people to take and understand what the value that you bring to the table. Right? Like if I could, like, you could easily tell someone from A to B, not A to Z, you could tell someone from A to B how to create a video and post it online that will get seen and all that stuff because you've done it, and you could deconstruct it for someone that's really easy to learn. Yeah. Right. And I think that in itself is a superpower and a gift for a lot of people that haven't developed that skill. So for you, 2024 looks like a big year of building.
I'm hoping it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited that, to dive into this and to just meet people and create stuff and help teach them. And, a lot of times also teaching people of like, I'm just going to create something because I need to, there's a reason that you need to create something, not just to have content up on Instagram because you haven't posted in a while.
Yeah. Like, dude, that's huge, man. Well, that's exciting. Yeah. Dude, what a great conversation.
Yeah.